Hey everybody, so it's Sunday. I'm not working on this thing today, but I wanted to tell you guys about it. So let's get started. First of all, this year is going to be a big change for this bad boy. I just ordered a new clutch, a new belt, and a new housing that I'll get into here. So let me just explain my thoughts and theories behind this. It was having a hard time. I got the new carburetor, the new fuel lines, the new air filter, all on there last year, new battery, so I got it running and driving. It was great. The fastest I got to was 37 going downhill, so I mean, it ran nice. As you know, these bad boys are only supposed to go 30. They're restricted in ways, yada yada, so yeah. But that's all fine and dandy. I don't mind going 30 in town. It doesn't bother me. But what does bother me is when I'm trying to go up a hill in 2-lane traffic and trying to compete with this traffic going 30, 35 miles an hour. And with just me on here, I can only go 15 going up a hill. That's when things get kind of sketchy. Because, hey doggo. Because it's quiet and there isn't... there's really not much between you and the vehicle next to you. So if you could at least keep up with traffic, that'd be great, right? Well, I wasn't able to. So, with that being said, I needed the new housing. It got really cracked when I tried to kickstart it one time this winter, so I got the new housing. Found a deal where you can get the new housing and a new belt. This is what the belt looks like. It seems to have seen quite better days as far as... can utilize some of this light. As far as like wear goes, it looks very shiny, very flipped the wrong way, of course. Come on back, there we go. So it looks very worn, and online it says it's supposed to be between like 17 mils brand new. The outer portion of this is pretty close, but the inside is very, very narrow, like 10 to 12. So I think we'll compare it when we get a new belt. Hopefully it's all the right stuff. And then I thought, while I'm in here, I'm going to get a new clutch. This clutch here, upon inspection, there's a couple things on it that I'm not quite satisfied with. First of all, it's probably the original clutch. So it has 4,700 kilometers on it, which for a scooter, apparently that's like a lot of miles. So like, okay, look at the thickness of that pad. And then compare it to the thickness of, which one? This pad. We got this pad here that's worn like quite a bit more than the other ones. And then the wear pattern on it isn't right. So there's just a couple key things I'm noticing that I'm not quite happy with. And I'm going to rip it down. I'm going to check the springs on the backside because there's springs and stuff. But I'm not going to do anything like that until I get my new parts and verify that this and the new one are compatible, because I'm not going to sit here and go on a wild goose chase if I don't have to. This one does still work. It just, I don't think it works quite proper. So we'll find out. So, I mean, what does that say on there? GYMB. I can't read it. Anyways, so now let's talk about the whole speed thing. So these are only supposed to go 30. But to compete with traffic in hilly conditions like what's in a town, there's some issues. So last year, I broke the airbox, yada yada, and I already upgraded this just because this is like $2. A brand new airbox is like $30. So we got the new carb, the new fuel lines, the new fuel vacuum petcock that comes from the tank down, and the new air filter. So she can breathe really good. New battery. Did quite a bit of work to this bad boy. Now, one thing that people were talking about is how restrictive the exhaust was. And it makes sense because this is what would stick out of my pipe. Is just this tiny little tube. Now, this is a 50cc motor. You know, why is this so small when your intake is so large? You know what I mean? You got an air filter that's this big around, and this is what it's, I mean, there's a lot of back pressure in that system. So I thought, yeah, I'm hauling this thing out for two reasons. One, competing with traffic, sucks when you're going too slow. And 2, it's so quiet. Yes, it makes for an enjoyable ride, but no one can hear you. So if you're already a traffic hazard because you can't compete with speed, and then all of a sudden now you're too quiet for them to hear you, you got really a bad deal. So upon ripping this thing apart, I cut it twice because I didn't quite know what was inside, so I had to cut it 2 times just to make up for it. I'm gonna weld this thing all back together, but so this is what was inside. So this attached to there. Let's see, actually I think this attached to one of these other ones. Yeah, so the exhaust would come up, it would come around the bend, and then it would come to this and into the chamber. And then from the chamber, it would go through here and then out this. Yeah, and then from that would go into this chamber, out that. So it's like restrictive in many ways. I think I'm kind of explaining it wrong, but if you could imagine, it was kind of like that went into here. So yeah, it went into there, and then that was hooked up like that and there. And then from that whole entire back chamber, it had to go into the front chamber, and then from there it had to be forced out of this tiny little pipe. So I'm cutting this bad boy apart. I took out all the restrictive qualities. I'm gonna lop this off, make this hole bigger. I got a hole saw, and then once I take out all this junk, I'm gonna weld it onto there. So then she'll be super, super unrestricted, which is essentially what you buy when you buy aftermarket exhaust. And that there is supposed to give me probably my biggest benefit in power. And like I said, I'm not trying to do wheelies, I'm not trying to do burnouts. You guys know I'm not that kind of guy. But what I am trying to do is I am trying to compete with traffic, and having it a little bit louder will be fine, but if it is too loud, I'll just buy a different exhaust. This is just, I can weld this together, so why not try it, right? It is still going to have the natural baffling that's on the inside. It's kind of a honeycomb on the sides of it. Let me show you guys via the light so you actually know what I'm talking about here. So, there you go. You can see all the honeycomb that's already in there. So it'll still all be a full exhaust. Now some of them were saying that there's a restriction via a small tube in the front. And upon my inspection, it's either already been removed or it never had it. So, yeah, but I had to take the exhaust off anyways because I got some new exhaust parts. I need to put this new seal in it and these new bolts because I had no seal and just these because it had that bad exhaust leak. But we'll get it all taken care of. I'm going to work on welding that up tonight. And then from there, we'll get all of the other parts installed. Hopefully they're right. And we'll take her out for a rip. And hopefully it's just a little more responsive. It doesn't have that nasty slip like it did before. And it can just compete with traffic a little bit better. Yeah, because I mean, it's still going to have zero acceleration. They're not made to bust off the line unless you get, I believe it's upgraded springs within your clutch, and I just ordered another standard one. But they're not made to beat anybody off the line, but if I can compete. Plus, I'm not a 15-year-old kid. I'm a 23-year-old man. I weigh 200 pounds, so yeah. Anyways, that's what's going on with the Scoot. Or, yeah, they call them scooters. They're not mopeds. Mopeds have pedals on them or something like that. There's a difference. But we'll get this bad boy running, and if I can get it running right, I'll keep it. If it still is just kind of hit and miss on it, then I'm just going to get rid of it. And we'll write it off as it was a fun project. So, yeah. Plus, Sam likes to ride on the back of this, and we want to take it camping with us and ride 2-up on it through town. And with 2 people on here, it does get up to speed eventually. But once again, 2 people going up a hill, that's even worse than 1 person, obviously. So other than that, this thing is so cool. If you don't have a moped, I suggest you get one. They're super fun to ride. I'm not a person that really cares what other people think about me. So the fact that people are like, "Oh, those things are so stupid and dorky," I could care less what it looks like when I'm on it, because I'm having fun when I'm on it. And it's like $8 a month to insure. It's ridiculously cheap. So that is all. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will talk to you later.